Hey everybody, it's TF Renegade here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes 4-pack. This 4-pack includes G1 Ultra Magnus, Bumper, Horri-Bull, and Nemesis Prime. But before we look at these pretty good looking figures, we gotta take a look at this box. So as we can see, we got Ultra Magnus and Bumper in their vehicle modes over here. We got the Transformers logo and some names down here. We got the Versus sign. Over here, we got Horri-Bull, Nemesis Prime in their vehicle modes. We got some steps, how much it's going to take you to put them into vehicle mode over here. We got Ultra Magnus and Bumper in their robot modes, which is pretty nice. On the back, we can see all of them in their renders. Looks pretty good. And then on the other side, we got to back up a little bit here. We got Horri-Bull, Nemesis Prime in their robot modes. Pretty good stuff. On the top, we're upside down. We got to go around. Boom. We got the robot modes there. On the bottom, nothing important. So there you go. So since we're looking at 4 different characters, we're going to split them up into 2 separate groups. We're going to do the good guys first, and then the bad guys second. So let's go ahead and start with these 2. So taking a look at these 2 guys, in my opinion, I think they were probably the 2 easiest to put in the entire pack, especially the Ultra Magnus, because he's just a white repaint of the Optimus, which already was lacking in paint. But with Bumper over here, I got my quarrels with him. So I don't mind Bumper being a reuse of a mold already and just painted differently. That's fine. But why didn't they just wait until they did a Cliff Jumper? Because we know they're doing Cliff Jumper. So why not just wait and then put him in the next 4-pack with that mold? It's beyond me why they do this sometimes, because they did this with Bumblebee. If you guys remember when the Netflix Bumblebee came out, they made a 4-pack with the buzzworthy Bumblebee and used the Cliff Jumper mold and gave him the right yellow and stuff, and it was just like, what's the point? Like, why did you guys do that? But here we have the first Bumper since G1, and it's already wrong, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We can't really stop Hasbro from doing this stuff, so we're just going to have to live with it. But let's go ahead and look at Bumper here. You can see he's got a brand new head sculpt, and I think that looks really, really nice on him. It's an excellent head. He's got an Autobot symbol on his chest. He's got black windows, except for up top. Not too sure why they didn't want to paint that there. He's got black shoulders. He's got yellow arms. He's got black hands, yellow waist, black legs. He's got yellow feet, but they painted the bumper black this time, and the headlights are black. So Bumper's not going to be able to drive at night because his lights aren't going to be able to get through the black paint they decided to put on there. On the back, he's got black windows, painted lights back here, black back bumper. But yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good looking guy, aside from the legs or the feet. So, I mean, they already made the mold kind of like him. I mean, he's got a flat top up here, which is really nice. But again, just wait for Cliff Jumper, you know. But with Ultra Magnus, I mean, there's not much going on here. He's just, like I said before, he's a white version of the Optimus we already got. So it's not painted up here, which kind of sucks because I thought these 4-packs were supposed to be like better painted versions of these molds since it's cheaper to make them. But it's still the same story here. They didn't paint these, none of this stuff. So it's just all white with the head. And I think the head looks good. I like the red eyes and I like the blue up here. But I just wish they kind of filled in a little more. But, you know, it is what it is. Can't really change that. So taking a look at their accessories here, let's start off with Bumper since he's only got the one little blaster here. So you can see it's the same as Bumblebee's. It's just a little darker. I like that. I like that color they used on this. It looks really nice. So you can see that. Then Ultra Magnus over here, he comes with 2 blasters, just like the Legacy Optimus did. So you can see these right here. One's based off the toy, one's based off of the cartoon. So you can see how those look together. And then he's got his Energon axe. You can see this. It's blue this time, and I really like this blue. That looks really, really good. And you can see on the bottom, it just pegs into his hand right there. And last but not least, if you open up his chest, he actually has a painted matrix this time. The last time we got this, Optimus Prime came with a clear matrix. So this one is gray, and it's got the blue in the middle. So that's really nice. If you want to swap these out, You can put this one in the Optimus Prime, and I really like this. I'm glad they at least included a painted matrix with him. So yeah, those are their accessories. Articulation-wise, we'll do bumper. So he can look to the left, he can look to the right, look all the way around. He's actually really easy. So I'm glad about that. Usually it's kind of hard to do that. So he's an easy one. He can move his arm all the way out. He can move it all the way around. He's got a bend at the elbow. He has an elbow swivel, which is nice. He has wrist swivel. Whoa, we never get that usually, so we got that. He has a waist swivel. It's really nice. His legs can kick out. He can kick back. He can do to the side. If you move that out of the way, it's really nice. He's got a knee bend. Can he do a whole 90? Yep. There you go. That's a nice bend. 10 out of 10 on the bend there. Liking that. And then he's got little feet rockers, so he can stand any way you please. And then when it comes to Ultra Magnus, he can look to the left. He can look to the right. He can look all the way around. He's a little stiffer than the bumper there. He can move his arm all the way out. He can move it all the way around. He does have an elbow bend. He has an elbow swivel. Nothing with the wrists. It's just stuck in place, which sucks. If you move his flap up, he has a waist swivel. I almost screwed that up, so that would have sucked. He can kick all the way out. He can kick all the way back. Actually, that's a really nice back there. I never even noticed that with Prime. If you move his arm out and his tire up, he can get his leg out, and he can bend his leg like so. You can see that. It's a very nice bend. 10 out of 10 on the bend. He has feet rockers, and before we forget, he does have a leg swivel. And let's look at bumper real quick. Does he have it? Yes, he does. We are golden, folks, so let's go ahead, put him up there, and you can make him stand any way you please. For the comparisons, let's go ahead and bring in Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. You can see how they look together, and like I said, bumper, it's just a repaint of this. He's just got a different head, so you can see that. And then we'll bring in Transformers Prime Cliffjumper, who was in the last 4-pack. So you can see that. And then we'll bring in Mr. G1 Optimus Prime. So you can see how they look together. And I got some toy hacks on him, so he's got extra. But you can see how they look. And I think they do look good together. So you can see that. And then we'll also bring in his original toy, Ultra Magnus, right there for the rare occasion that I actually have the G1 version we can actually look at side by side. And like I said, you can see he's got paint or stickers over here, and they didn't paint it onto him. So there you go. And then we'll bring in a Commander class figure. Oop, here we go. Here we go. Oh. The Commander class Ultra Magnus that we can't see. And I have to move this whole setup up. Hang on. So you can see how these guys all look together with the Commander class Ultra Magnus, who towers over them. And I think it would be cool if they made a, upgrade, like third-party upgrade pack for this guy and gave him some armor. That'd be pretty cool. I'd like to see how they even do that. But yeah, there you go. So here these two are rocking in their vehicle modes, and right off the bat, we can see Mr. Bumper not looking too hot over there. I think this mold already was Bumper-esque. Like it's very flat on the top. The back is angled. And if you look at it from this side, it's like, yeah, that looks like Bumper. But you switch to the front, and it's like, okay, guys, like we couldn't wait an extra couple years to do it until we got Cliffjumper, but, it is what it is. At least we got Bumper. That part of it's pretty cool. But, I mean, he is still pretty cool. I think he looks nice. His wheels roll really good. I like the yellow. I like the black windows on him this time. I think that's really good. He's got a nice Autobot symbol. He cleans up really well on the bottom. So there's not much else. I mean, he has no headlights, so he's just going to crash at night. But he does roll really nice. You can see that. So that's good. Ultra Magnus is just your standard G1 Ultra Magnus. He looks good. I like the mold, but I wish it was bigger when they did it the first time with Optimus, but beggars can't be choosers. And I still think it's a neat little mold to mess around with if you want to. He's got his silver stripes over here in the front. He's got his, he's all painted up in here. He's got his headlights. He's got an Autobot symbol over there. He's got transparent windows, so that's pretty nice. His wheels roll. He's just normal. You can do that. I forgot to mention earlier, you can pop these off if you want to, and you could use them as a gun. But, I mean, I just keep mine on there. There's not really a point to it. But, yeah, that's it for their vehicle modes. For a vehicle comparison, we're going to slap Mr. Bumblebee right there in the middle. And you can see the paint differences. You can see how Bumblebee's all painted headlights, and his are gray and his are black. So you can see the differences there, you know, from the side. Pretty much the same, just different colors. I mean, I think that's why it annoys me the most, is that it just looks like Bumblebee in its vehicle mode. Like it's just another Bumblebee. And it's just got no personality to it to really differentiate the two of them. So, yeah, it's a real bummer. So we'll get him out of there. We'll bring in Optimus Prime from Legacy. You can see how they look. Gotta fix his smokestack up there. My version doesn't clip in very well, so that kind of sucks. But I also have toy hacks on here, so just keep that in mind. But it's not much of a difference, really. So you can see how they all look together. So there's that. And then we'll bring in Legacy Prime Cliff Jumper. And I like that. I like how these two look especially. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll bring in the G1 Ultra Magnus. So you can see how that guy looks. And you're never going to beat this. I don't know why, but for me, every time I look at this version, it just looks like a real truck. And I love that a lot. And I love that about all the G1. It's just, they do a really good job at capturing that real life look for some reason that this one just can't do. But you can see on the side, you know, that's how they look. So that's pretty nice. And then we'll bring in the last guy, the biggest Omega Behemoth himself, Ultra Magnus. Oh, we lost his trailer. That's not good. But you can see how these guys look together. The white truck, how detailed the newest one is. You can see Bumper there. Let's get your trailer back there, bud. And then you can roll him up here, and then Ultra Magnus can get up there, and Bumper could get on the bottom, and they can roll on out of here. So here are the two characters that I wanted this pack for the most, Horri-Bull and Nemesis Prime. I really wanted Horri-Bull so I could finish my Master Force collection, but, you know, knock on wood, Takara will probably release a dramatic capture version, and then I'm going to have egg on my face for getting all these versions. But these are good for your Headmasters, at least. If you don't have the Headmaster Horri-Bull, since it didn't come out with Titan's Return, here's your chance to finally complete those guys. And I think, you know, he looks pretty good. And then you get the animated Nemesis Prime over here, and he has a battle mask this time, which did not come with the original animated Optimus, so that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and look at Horri-Bull up close here, you know, since he's going to have the most going on. So you can see he's got a brand new head over here. He is loose. It is a loose head, and that was kind of the case in Titan's Return. Sometimes you get a good one, and then sometimes you get a really loose head, and this is no exception. It's really loose, which really sucks. But, you know, since he is a Headmaster, he can take it off and transform him. You can see how that looks. I really like that. I love Headmasters. I mean, when I was a kid, I loved looking at the commercials for the original toys. And when Titan's Returns came out, I really, really enjoyed that. And, yeah, and I'm glad they're still making them. I think they're really cool. But you can also see here he's got his stats, like the original toys. When you plug in the head, the stats come out and you can read them. So that's really cool detail there. He's got gray over here, all over him up here. He's got some, you know, colors over here in his arms, and he's got it on his little crotch there. Got some gray on his legs. Same thing on his legs are painted, same color down here. You know, not much. He's got his bull head up there. He got his horns. And these horns are actually separate pieces. They come packaged separately. So you got to plug that in. His head also comes out separately. So you got to find all the pieces and put it together. And then put it there. And you can see on his back, he's got some nice details back there. But he's got hollow legs, which really sucks. And looking at Nemesis Prime, he's got a lot of paint added to him that the original just didn't have, which is just really, really awesome. And I think they really did a good job painting this guy. You can see on his hand, you know, now he's got red there on his fist. He's got some black all around it. In the old one, it was just all blue. It's also gray hands, which are painted. That's nice. He's got a nice Decepticon logo up there. You can look at his head. If we can get it over here. You can see that. It's got the faceplate, like I said, looks nice. And they actually painted the top of his head. You can see the silver lines up there, and that looks really nice. They didn't paint the other one, which was supposed to have yellow up there, so I'm glad they finally corrected that. He does have some nice red windows over here, but this whole piece here is black. He's just got some nice headlight details over here. His arms are all black. You know, he's got some gray on the inside on his little elbows there. He's got some gray on his crotch there. Darker gray legs. You know, and come down here, it's black. His feet have paint now on this little section, which didn't come on the original, so that looks really nice. Turn him around to the back. He's got the black, the red sirens with the black piece there, and that whole piece is black. See the back of the legs. That's all filled in. So yeah, he looks really, and you can see right there on the back of his head. Kind of goes all the way down. So that looks really, really nice for him. So for the accessories with these guys, we'll take a look at Mr. Horri-Bull. He's got 2 blasters, and one of these is actually used for his vehicle mode. So we'll look at this one first, since this is his normal blaster. Really like that. It's really nice details. You can see how that looks. And then he's got his other blaster here, the double barrel. And that looks really good. But this is actually used for his vehicle mode because this is also his tail. See, these 2 parts are going to clip in there later. But you can see that. And then his head, I guess, also counts as an accessory. So there's that. We already looked at him earlier. So we'll go ahead and plug him back in. And then Nemesis Prime comes with his axe, just like the animated Optimus. So you can see how this looks. Love the paint on this. I love the red on his axe blade. I think that looks really nice. So you can see that. Now, it's really, really sweet. So yeah, that's it for their accessories. Articulation-wise, Mr. Horri-Bull can look to the left, he can look to the right, he can look all the way around if you want him to. He can put his arm out all the way, he can push it all the way around. He does have an elbow bend, which is really nice. He has elbow swivel, which is great. No wrist rotation, it can only go... Oh, it's stuck. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. It can go in a little bit. It can go out for transformation. He has a waist swivel, which is nice. He can kick forward. He can go back a little bit. Gets kind of caught back there. He can put his leg out all the way, which is nice. He has a leg rotation, which is great. He does have knee bend. I'm sorry. It's a 10 out of 10 on the bend there. I like that. He does have feet rockers, so he can stand any way you please. Look forward. Put your arms down. Come on, we're doing a review here. For Nemesis Prime, he can also look to the left. He can look to the right. He can look all the way around if you want him to. He can look up and he can look down. He cannot do that. He can put his arms out. He can move it all the way around if you want him to. He has an elbow bend, elbow swivel, and, oh, look at that, a wrist swivel, which is nice. He has a waist swivel, which is great. He has that. He can kick forward. He can kick back. That's really nice. Let's hit the camera. He does have leg swivel, knee bend, 10 out of 10 on the bend there. Go all the way up like that. That's 100 out of 10 on that right there. And he has foot rockers, so you can make him stand any way you please. For comparison, let's go ahead and bring out Waspinator from Transformers Animated, and you can see how he looks. He's a tiny boy compared to these guys. So you can see that. We'll also bring in another animated figure. We'll bring in Lockdown from Legacy. You can see them together. And we also have Mr. Tarn from the last 4-pack. So we'll go ahead and slap him in here. You can see how they look. If Tarn wants to stand right there. And then we also have Squeeze Play from the last 4-pack. So you can see how he looks with them. You can see that. Since these two are the ones who are going to be together, you can see how they look. So there's that. Looks pretty good. And then we'll also bring in the behemoth himself, Mr. Studio Series 86, Megatron. And you can see how they look with Megatron. So there you go. So now we have some really, really nice vehicle modes. So we'll start off with Horri-Bull over here. So you can see he's got a really nice looking bull mode. You can see that. You can see how he looks there. Like I said earlier, his blaster becomes his tail back there. He's got some nice details over here on his legs. That's nice. He's got nice details over here on his back. See that? He's got a nice Decepticon logo right there. I didn't even notice that at first. So that's nice. His horns right there. If you want to, you can open his mouth. You can go like that if you want him to. So that's really nice. His claws move up and down like so. You can move his arms all the way around if you want to, like that. But his legs don't really go anywhere else back there. But my favorite part of this is this little compartment where your little Titan Master or Headmaster sits inside of there. You can see that. I always like that gimmick where with the Headmasters, when they transform, the head just goes into a little area, and then he can control it, or he can sit in there, or what have you. So I really like that. But yeah, you can see on the bottom, it's just his robot mode, kind of condensed. So yeah, that's Horri-Bull. He's pretty nice. But here we have Nemesis Prime, which I think is probably the best in the entire pack. I mean, his paint work is really, really spot on here. I mean, his tires are painted this time, which wasn't on Animated Optimus. So I think the painted tires really, really bring out this mold. It looks really good. It's still unpainted in the back, though. But yeah, the front looks super, super good with these new red windows. See that the headlights look good over there. Siren looks really nice. He rolls really good too. You can take out Horri-Bull if you want him to. So yeah, there you go. So it's time for my favorite part, the vehicle comparison. So let's bring in Waspinator from Animated, and you can see him there in the middle. Nice little green Bumblebee. So you can see how they look together. So that's really nice. We'll also bring in Lockdown from Legacy. So you can see that. He actually looks really good with Nemesis Prime. It's a nice little matchup there. That's nice. We'll also look at Tarn from the last 4-pack. So you can see how they look. Actually a pretty good matchup. I was not expecting that. That's actually really cool. And then we'll also look at Squeeze Play. Let me fix his foot before we slide him in here. There's Squeeze Play there. So that's how these two look together. Look really nice. And then, last but not least, Mr. 86 Behemoth Megatron. And you can see how that guy looks in there. So, there you go. So that was a lot to go over for these 4 guys. But to give my final thoughts on this 4-pack is really so meh. That's the only way I can describe this. It's not a great 4-pack, and it's not a terrible one, because we've gotten really bad ones before. So this is actually just in the middle. It's one of those ones where you're going to see, and it's like, do I want to pick this up, or do I want to wait? And I really think it comes down to the selection. I don't know how Hasbro comes to their conclusion on what characters are going to put in these packs, but I definitely feel like the last pack that we got with the Cliff Jumper, Tarantulas, Squeeze Play, and the Tarn repaint, I think that was a lot better selection than what's going on here. Because at least with that pack, a lot of people wanted the Cliff Jumper. That was the main thing. Where it's the only way to get Prime Cliff Jumper is in this pack, so we got to get it. And I really like the Squeeze Play and the Tarn from that pack as well, so it was a really good value. And you're still getting a good value here. If you had to pay for these separately, it would still cost a lot of money. But it is up to $100 now. And the only one of these characters that got a lot of work done was Nemesis Prime. He has a brand new paint job, and he's got more paint than the original mold. And I guess you could also say it for Horri-Bull, since he is a new remold of an old Titan's Return character. So, I mean, these two got a lot of work done to him, and then these two kind of just were thrown in. I mean, he got a new head, but as far as paint goes, it's really not a lot. I mean, he's got barely any paint, and then Bumper has black paint now in a deeper yellow, which is nice, but that's kind of it. And so that's why I just kind of say it's meh. Because we already got a bad version of the Animated Optimus mold in Legacy. We got Menasor. So now we're getting another one, but it's Nemesis Prime, which, he still looks really good, but it's like, how many molds are we going to get of this character before we get actual Decepticons from that show? Like, we're just getting remolds of the Autobots and their bad variants, and we're not getting new Decepticons from that show. So it's just kind of like, just characters that you really don't need. Nobody needs a Bumper and Ultra Magnus. I mean, it's a nice inclusion if you have a retro shelf and you want to have them. It's a great inclusion. Horri-Bull's the only one because you got to finish your Titan's Return or your Master Force collection. So he's really the only one that you need to get to finish anything. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I know there's people who want the Ultra Magnus in the Bumper or the Nemesis Prime, and it's just my opinion. It just feels meh. So on the collector's rating, I'm going to give this an 8. I think, you're getting solid characters, but, like I said, I wish the selection was better. And I'm only giving it an 8 because of the plastic quality, which I haven't touched on yet, and I want to say right now, these 4-packs always have a couple characters that suffer, and the two that suffer the most are Bumper and Horri-Bull. I think they have the worst plastic quality out of these guys. They're looser, and they're not, as tight. I think the Ultra Magnus is really good. He's solid. And Nemesis Prime is the best. I think Nemesis Prime's joints are extremely tight. I think he's a really good feeling figure. So Nemesis Prime is definitely a win. But when I opened the box up and I first felt them, I definitely could tell these two were the worst. But you kind of get used to it when you start messing around with them a little more. But it's one of those first out of the box things you notice where it's like, ooh, like, oh, okay, I can feel that plastic quality. But I think a solid 8 is fine with this, especially for $100. It is still a good value to get 4 figures, and you can put these guys in a retro shelf, and you can put him with Master Force or Headmasters, and then he can go with the animated guys. So it's an okay pack. So for the parents rating, I'm going to give this a solid 9. I think it's fair to give it a 9 because they're good toys to play with for kids. I don't think they're going to have any problems with these. For $100, you're getting 4 figures. And that's, you can get these on sale at Target too. So if you can get it even cheaper, you get 4 figures. And I think that's a good Christmas gift. I think if you have a kid who likes Transformers, it's a good thing. They don't really have a lot of small pieces aside from some blasters and stuff. But for younger kids who like Transformers, I think it's a good pick. I don't think you're going to have any problems with it. They're easy to transform. They're not too difficult. Horri-Bull's a little difficult, I would say, but he's not too hard. But yeah, I think that's solid, a 9 for that. But tell me what you guys think. That's the part of these videos I love. Like the last videos I've uploaded, I love reading your guys' comments because you guys, you're all passionate about these toys. And you have your own opinions, whether you want to buy them or you don't want to buy them. And it's always fun to read that stuff. So please keep leaving your comments down below because it's always fascinating to see the mindset of other collectors. And just tell me if you love this pack or you hate it or you just kind of feel meh about it like I do. But yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe if you like the content. And I'll see you guys in the next video.